So, when is a Toyota not a Toyota? When it's a BMW, of course. Welcome to Four Wheels and a Seat. I'm Alex Dalrymple and this is my channel where I review new cars every week. But you don't want to miss one, so please hit the subscribe button down below, the notification alert, and give me a like as well if you enjoy the video. So this is the Toyota GR Supra, and I think it is the most interesting car Toyota make because it's actually made by BMW. You see, under the skin, it's actually a BMW Z4, and the two cars are actually made side by side in the same factory in Austria, in a small town called Graz, which Arnold Schwarzenegger was born in. Now you know. The two cars are actually developed together, so it is actually at least half a Toyota. And although it shares the same platform and many underpinnings with the BMW Z4, the two cars do look outwardly very different. The design at the front here actually reminds me a little bit of the original Jaguar F-Type with these big headlights and the low nose. Some more of these fake vents here, which have actually been deliberately left in by Toyota, so people who want to modify this car can actually open them up easily and make them functional. This particular Supra is a top-spec GTS model, and the only differences between this car and the entry-level GT are larger 19-inch wheels, bigger rear brakes, and a 12-speaker JBL sound system. And just look at the size of these rear haunches. They're huge. You can actually quite comfortably sit here. The design at the rear I do find to be just a little bit fussy maybe. I do like the tail light design, and the exhausts down the bottom there make a really nice noise with a little bit of popping and crackling going on when you downshift. There is a boot. It's not very big though, just 290 litres, no spare tyre, but there is a tyre repair kit under the floor. Although the engine has a Toyota badge on it, it's actually a BMW. It's the same engine that you'll find in a top-spec BMW Z4. So that is a straight-six 3-litre engine that's turbocharged and outputs 285 kilowatts of power and 500 Newton meters of torque, propelling this car to 100 kilometers per hour in just 4.1 seconds. Pretty quick. Average fuel economy comes in at 8.9 litres per 100 kilometres on a combined cycle. I've been getting about 9.5 or so in the week I've had this car, so that's pretty good. And power is delivered to the rear wheels only via an 8-speed automatic transmission. Getting into this car for the first time was a bit of a strange experience for me because this interior is pure BMW. There's really nothing Toyota about it except for maybe the badge on the steering wheel. All of the switchgear comes straight out of Bavaria. And interestingly, it's not the same as the current Z4 interior either. It's more like an older BMW design, kind of like an older 3 Series. But it's no bad thing because it really does make this one of the most luxurious interiors that Toyota have. The center console screen at just under 9 inches is maybe just a little bit on the small side, but the software on it is unique to this car, and it's more based on older BMW software than anything that Toyota do. So it actually makes it much better than any Toyota system you're going to find. There's native navigation. Everything's really clean and easy to use. It's a touch screen, but you do have the BMW jog wheel down here on the lower console, which you can use as well. There's wireless Apple CarPlay, but unfortunately Android users, you're going to need a USB cable. And come to think of it, I'm not actually sure. Oh, there's a USB input there. I just found it. It's connected to a 12-speaker JBL sound system, which I'm a little bit disappointed by. It seems to lack a bit of bottom end. Maybe I need to tweak the equalizer a little bit more, but I think it could be better. Under that, we've got the familiar row of customizable shortcut buttons, which anyone who's driven a BMW recently would know all about. The climate control system runs completely separate to the center console screen, which is becoming an increasingly rare thing these days. We've got wireless phone charging under that, and something that Apple users have been complaining about lately is a bit of difficulty using these systems in cars because the cameras stick out so much they don't allow for proper contact to your phone. Well, this car has that sorted because there's actually a flap here on top that actually holds your phone down and in place to stop it moving around, and it helps keep contact with the charging surface. The lower console covered in carbon fiber here, which I really like. This gear shifter straight out of a Mini. We've got the BMW style jog wheel to run the center console screen if you don't want to do it by touch. Only 2 drive modes in this car, normal and sport. So we've got the big sport button there that's easy to hit. Cup holders, there's no center bin in this car. We've just got a little storage space here at the back, and if you have a drink here, I mean, this isn't really a problem with the automatic version of this car, but if you have the manual, your arm might be knocking that when you're changing gears. Head-up display on the windshield doesn't really have a lot of information. Same with the digital instrument cluster. It is a really interesting design. I like this. It's not BMW and it's not really like any other Toyota screen I've seen. It's unique to this car and I think it's actually pretty good. There's a bit of real estate here that's not being used. I think they could do more with it. There's a lot of just black area, but you know, maybe that'll come in future updates, who knows. Steering wheel has a good feel to it. Again, it's not BMW and it's not really quite Toyota either. I don't know what, this car is unique. I like the design. The buttons on here are BMW, however, as are the paddle shifters at the back. The indicator stalks, unlike every other Toyota you're going to encounter, have a European setup, so the indicator is on the left as opposed to the right, and we've got windscreen wiper controls over here on the right. The seats are leather with Alcantara inserts and are very comfortable. We've got full electric adjustment and they are heated as well. The view out the front is really good actually. You can see pretty much right to the front corner of the bonnet from my position. Because the windscreen is at such a severe angle, it's actually not a very wide space to look through. It sort of feels like I'm looking through a kind of a turret window or something like that. The seating position in the car is fantastic, nice and low, very sporty. I'm quite tall at 190 centimeters, but I fit in here just fine, although getting in and out can be a bit of a challenge sometimes. The view through the rear vision mirror is a bit limited also just because the rear windscreen is quite small, and the wing mirrors are a good size. There's blind spot monitoring in there too. 0 to 100 in the Toyota GR Supra is 4.1 seconds, and that looks and feels a little bit like this. Yeah, that was getting very close to Tesla Model 3 territory. That was really good. This is only a little car with a big engine in it, and it flies. Now, as you might have heard just then, the engine does make a very nice noise in this car. The only thing that I find a little bit annoying is when you're sort of cruising along the highway at 100 like we are at the moment, it does get just a little bit drony. It's like it's just there in your ears all the time, this constant noise. A little bit of road noise coming through into the cabin, but it's not too intrusive. There are only two drive modes in this car, normal and sport, and that sport mode is fully customizable. So you can adjust the amount of damping from the suspension, the steering feel, the sensitivity of the acceleration, as well as the transmission. It's fun to have everything in sport, except for maybe the damping, because the ride can just get a little bit too firm. This car isn't really a lot of fun over speed humps anyway. At the best of times, you've got to take them pretty slowly. So to make those even firmer is definitely not recommended. Potholes are not great either. I really felt that one. I'm still not quite used to seeing the Toyota badge in front of me. There is just nothing Toyota-ish about this car. It is European and BMW in every possible sense. So would I buy one of these over a BMW Z4? Maybe. You know, a convertible isn't always the most practical car to own. And I really like the look of the Supra. I like this coupe shape. I think it looks really good. And you're not really sacrificing any performance by going with the Toyota rather than the BMW. Both cars have the same engine at the top spec anyway. And then there's the price difference, which is substantial. You do pay a fair bit extra for that Bavarian badge. This car is really not made to be stuck in traffic. You can feel it getting impatient. It wants to be out on the freeway stretching its legs, not negotiating roundabouts. The Toyota Supra is one unique car. You don't see too many of these on the roads, and they certainly do turn heads. And it also means you can pretty much get a BMW for Toyota money. well, maybe just a bit more than Toyota money. This car starts at just over $94,000 on road, and it's about 14 grand more for how you see it here. But that does make it about $45,000 cheaper than the equivalent BMW Z4. And with BMW going fully electric in the next few years, the Supra is going to have to change again. So if I were you, I'd snap up one of these while you can.